So all I'm saying is that the tiger in the Bronx Zoo that got Chinese lung herpes, now it's got tiger lung herpes.
Sure.
So we have to put it down because if it encounters a Canadian moose, we end up with galactic AIDS, and then everything dies on contact on Earth.
That sounds like bullshit. But I don't know enough about animal to animal virus transmission.
I mean, we don't know what the fuck we're dealing with. Chinese lung herpes on human to human transmission is already some sort of fucked up RNG driven campaign based against trying to get you to die against things that aren't immediately caused by the virus, like AIDS. But it's more like herpes because it never goes away and it mutates every 6 months.
Okay, yeah. I'll give you that. But I don't. Tiger to. What'd you say? Canadian
moose.
Tiger to moose. And we get
galactic AIDS.
Yes. I just feel like maybe AIDS would cause galactic AIDS.
We don't know what kind of fucking RNG based bullshit lies behind Chinese lung herpes. Because let's say the tiger at the Bronx Zoo now has tiger lung herpes. So what the fuck happens if that tiger ends up encountering like a scorpion, a praying mantis, a hummingbird, a fucking barracuda, a polar bear, a fucking yak, a beagle, a pit bull? Like, the list goes on. Like, we don't know what the fuck we're dealing with.
Fair. I do think it's important. I just don't see how we got to galactic AIDS.
Oh, because if tiger lung herpes crosses or makes contact with a Canadian moose, we get galactic AIDS and it's over.
I'll take your word for it.
You heard it here first.
You should probably kill that tiger.
We have to.
You should probably kill that tiger. Someone should probably kill that tiger.
Alright, and now it's worse. You see that? Now there are 4 tigers in Spain that have Chinese lung herpes. So now does that mean they have Spanish tiger lung herpes? I mean, now are we going to have to start categorizing things like, let's say a platypus gets Chinese lung herpes,
right,
but from an animal that snuck its way all the way from Africa to Australia. So it's like African lung herpes inflicted on an Australian creature.
Sure.
So, like, what are the consequences of that? And it can't be possibly as bad as galactic AIDS.
Hold on. Well, hold on. Backtrack. We still haven't gotten a tiger and a Canadian moose.
Not yet.
With the virus. So we haven't had tiger lung herpes in Canadian moose. So, like, galactic AIDS still isn't on the table. Also, like you said, the first one was over here. It was here in New York. And these 4 are where?
Spain.
All right. So, what are the odds? So first, like when it was here, I could understand, and it was in a zoo. It was a tiger in the zoo. There's no fucking chance in hell that thing was going to get the Canadian moose in contact. What are the fucking odds that the 4 that are in Spain, you'd have to purposely transfer the 4 from Spain over to, like, I mean, like, why would you send them to Canada? Because that would be putting them in the line of fire of, Canadian moose.
Okay, but be that as it may, in Spain, they're closer to China than we are to China, which means that they're closer to where the fucking virus originated from. And now, like, they're probably in greater proximity to get to fucking whatever that got infected by China. And then it gets infected by a weird Spanish roundabout Chinese tiger lung herpes strain, and then gets sick again. And then who the fuck knows? And then they're coughing up things that look like escargot for 3 days. And any living thing that goes next to that escargot now has roundabout Chinese Spanish tiger lung herpes AIDS.
It's you keep. I don't think you can just slap AIDS on these mutated versions of viruses. Like, it has to come from AIDS. Although I will give you, under the presumption that this virus strain comes from a bat or pangolin or some weird thing that has this virus, and then some Chinaman went and did funny things to it and checked out the virus.
Maybe in a lab, maybe not.
Maybe or maybe not. They could have eaten the bat or the pangolin and gotten sick. They could have put it in a lab and dosed people. They could have been doing dissection on a creature that they injected with the virus and got it. However this virus got out, which I'll leave up to the audience to decide, if pangolin and or bat and or rodent COVID is as bad as it is right now, imagine if it was a tiger strain that we got. Do you think tiger COVID is like more, I don't know, it's got more punch than like pangolin?
Much more.
You
Because,
think
okay, so, let's say a pangolin has this virus and it gives it to a human being.
We get what we have now. Presumably.
Okay, presumably. Now, if a tiger with this virus infects someone, well, if it can bring down a tiger, why wouldn't it bring down a human? Because what works for you might kill me in 2 weeks and vice versa.
But what kills a tiger will definitely fucking kill you.
So let's say there's a tiger that survives, but he's all just like, in Spain with 3 other tigers, all right? And then he's just fucking walking around spreading this virus to like the groundskeepers in the zoo. And all right, so it didn't kill the tiger, all right, because that tiger is resilient. Those 3 other tigers, they might not make it. Those humans that get it, I mean, a tiger outlived it, but it could kill tigers, and now it's in a human. So you see how now, I mean, like, there's no real meaningful metric to measure how it can and will affect people once it gets, like, cross-species. Like,
listen, I'm a little concerned. I think we need to get those tigers killed.
Hmm?
I mean,
listen, if we had taken care of those tigers in the Bronx, we wouldn't be here right now.
I don't think the Bronx Zoo tiger has anything to do with the Spain tigers.
No, we're looking at you, Bronx Zoo. All
and we
right?
still haven't taken care of the Bronx Zoo tiger, although I do think the Bronx Zoo tiger made a full recovery.
Yeah, you probably have some Resident Evil Revelations 2 nonsense going on in the basement of the Bronx Zoo. Where
That'd
you
be
have
amazing,
some,
though, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
no, you know they do.
I don't
That's how they
think so,
keep
come on.
everyone in line up there.
In the Bronx. We got to kill those 4 tigers before they can spread tiger lung herpes.
Yes, Spanish tiger lung
Right.
herpes.
Sorry, it's like the Spanish flu, but tigers and lung herpes.
I mean, listen, I'd like for it to be on the record that Chinese lung herpes, if you think it's racist, that's on you because you're, like you are the very things you call people you accuse yourself of being in your private moments of thought and quiet moments of reflections, like Triggered and Snowflake. The point is, like, he's not wrong, all right? And while we're at it, if they were Belgian tigers, if they were German, Russian, Czechoslovakian tigers, I'm not sure. Because, hey, what if Slav blood and contact with Chinese lung herpes somehow exacerbates some sort of... Because, listen, like Slavs, they were the original bred for awful, gross things people profited from. Before the NBA, they were the Slavs. Because Slavs were taken as slaves for hundreds of years. And that's where they get their name. And the Janissaries, they couldn't be brainwashed. They were brainwashed too far in. They couldn't be saved or redeemed, so they just had to be killed in the battlefield.
Right.
There's nothing they can do about that. So anyways, the point is this. If we had killed this fucking tiger, right, at the Bronx Zoo, we wouldn't have these 4 fucking tigers.
I don't think
in
the
the
4
Spanish
tigers
zoo.
in the Spanish zoo have anything to do.
Listen, they speak Spanish in the Bronx. They speak Spanish in Spain. Like, it's their own fucking fault. All right? And if we had taken care of this shit earlier, we wouldn't be here fucking playing tiddlywinks in the corner going, oh no, a pelican from some fucking zoo in, like, New Zealand gave it to some fucking Ethiopian tourist. And now, like, it's all spreading everywhere and killing the fauna on the coral reef.
You know whose fault
And,
this
like,
is? One of you out there didn't wear a mask and you coughed on those tigers. You coughed on them. You coughed on those tigers and now they're sick.
And you see, because you're supposed to be wearing masks for others, not for yourself. All right? That's entirely on you. Because of you not wearing a mask, we don't have live music. Because of you not wearing a mask, small businesses have closed, and Jeff Bezos is now the richest man on earth.
Yeah.
Because of you not wearing a mask, you could go to protests that eventually become riots, and you could do irreparable damage to the communities that you don't live in. And it's on you because you didn't wear a mask.
Yeah.
Hey, did you have a loved one that passed away recently?
No.
And you want to go to the funeral?
No.
Yeah, well, chances are, statistically speaking, 17.3% of the people watching this have had. And you know what? You couldn't go to their funeral. And you have to fucking, like, sit apart in chairs like a bunch of fucking mooks. All right? And that's because you didn't wear a fucking mask. All right?
Because of you people not wearing masks, I can't find work. All right? How about that shit? Gyms are closed. I can't get a job.
Because you are not wearing a mask. There are people doing pointless office plate spinning, fire putting out bullshit in their living room, but with a company laptop, so it has company spyware. And then, oh no, suddenly Zoom call, and then like you dress up from the waist up, but you're not wearing any pants, and that's happening from sea to shining sea. Because you didn't wear a fucking mask.
Because of you people not wearing a mask, all of these people who are on internet dating websites are like, oh no, I'll wait until it's all over. Well, you know what? That's a whole fucking year. Maybe more. Actually, probably less, considering we got that new Pfizer vaccine, which is totally going to have some kind of weird side effect. Just putting that out there. But, like, no one's got 6 months to fucking wait to go meeting up with a booty call. That's nonsense. If you're there for the hookups, like, 6 months to wait for a hookup, get the fuck out of here. Wear a mask so, like, people can get laid again. What's wrong with you?
And that isn't even fucking feasible because you're not wearing a mask.
We were wearing masks, like, well before it was, you know, mandated by law. So just, let's be clear here, like, you need to wear a mask. When you're around somebody less than 6 feet, look, we're real close, we got masks on, it's fine. I also get regularly COVID tested because I'm not stupid.
Part of the reason there is a divide between the world being the way it can be and the way the world that it is because you're not wearing a fucking mask.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
You wear a mask.
You know, part of the reason you have not made the subconscious conscious and you keep calling it fate like Carl Jung wrote all those years ago, one of the reasons why that hasn't fucking occurred to you in your quiet moments of thought and private moments of reflection is because you're not wearing a fucking mask. Hey, you know what else is your fault because you're not wearing a mask? Is because you're not having any luck in online dating because you're overthinking shit. And it's you, and it's 17 million people in sea to shining sea. Man, all of you are just striking out and eating ass and being bitter and pacing around your fucking bedrooms and or apartments, or at the very least, 16,933 of you have bunkers of some sort. May or may not be including someone who turned the missile silo into a bunker, if that's what you... I mean, because you can't file, like, paperwork
I want to put something out there. In all seriousness, I think that there's a lot of people who are, like, super anti-mask or whatever the fuck that is. Mm-hmm. And I get it, for the most part. I understand where that comes from. Much like any anti-sentiment towards most things, I understand that it breeds somewhere. Here's the thing, though. I'm going to keep wearing my medical mask well after all this shit's over, because we are only a few steps away from like surveillance state, CCTV, your face being recognized by an algorithm.
Yeah.
Like, we're really close to that, and you know what doesn't fucking help them progress that? Putting on a thing that covers half your face.
However,
you cut off half of your face, those cameras can't do dick.
Okay.
So, for people who are like, I don't want to wear a mask because, like, coof, fine. How about you don't want your face being studied by an algorithm and followed and turned into a pattern or I don't know, some sort of metric that they're using to figure out what people are doing and thinking and planning and plotting and,
What? Okay, two things. Number one. It's times like this that make it hard not to feel like, what China does to the rest of the world, the United States does to its own people. Okay?
Explain.
Okay, so China, wanting to be like, we're fucking number one and or else, and waging soft warfare on the world around it so it could be number one.
And then the U.S. doing that
The U.S.
internally.
does it to its own people.
Gotcha.
All right? So, number two. Now, cameras can now identify you through your walking gait, the way that you stride.
I got a weird fucking walk, dude.
If they are unable to
Handy one of this.
if they are unable to identify, like,
And that bad boy over there.
If they're unable to identify you by your face, they can identify you by your stride.
Which is fucking crazy, because I used to have, like, there's this lady that I know who was like, yo, I could tell it was you from, like, blocks away because, like, of the way your body sways.
Because you have, like, a Sasquatch stride?
Yes. Apparently I walked...
Oh, for real? That's what she said?
Not Sasquatch. She was just like, you have, like I sway a certain way, and I was like, I don't know what that means. But she was just like, yeah, the way you move. I was like, all right,
Oh,
that's cool. Like it wasn't like an attack. It was just like, yeah, you have your body moves a certain way, and I was like, okay. I mean, I always assumed because like I have like somewhat broad shoulders,
right.
so you know.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
Hey, shut up! There we go. That'll handle it. People making noise. Don't they know it's 7 o'clock?
Yo, and you know why? They're giving us fucking grief for no meaningful fucking reason at all, is because you're not wearing a mask.
Son, everything now is just mask related. It's crazy. So glad we were wearing masks before this shit happened.
Everyone's just catching up.
Yeah.
Hey, that thing you like that not a lot of people know about, you want to know why not a lot of people fucking know about it? Because you aren't wearing a mask.
That's right. I think what we can learn from today is that in order to avoid what was it? Galactic AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
Just to put a bow on all of this. We don't want galactic AIDS, everyone. So, if an animal gets Chinese lung herpes, please kill it.
Put it down.
And, wear a fucking mask.